evening and welcome to your Thursday evening installment of SPTV live from London. I'm Apostate Alex, and who's this guy?
I'm Jeff. I'm just Jeff from Canada.
Just Jeff.
This is your
Canada.
A to J check.
This is your A to J check. Do you want to explain how we came up with that name?
Yeah, so an A to J check, well, of course, A to J, but A to J in Scientology is the types of PTSness that you can be accused of being in Scientology. So we won't go over all of them, but there are every single one. You're a PTS type D.
So I'm officially PTSD.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I thought you
actually thought about that before.
PTSD?
Well, I'm not technically PTS. So I'm all of them. I'm just PTS to life or for life.
For life. PTS for life. And PTS is potential trouble source. That means we're connected to a suppressive person.
Does that mean I'm not suppressive?
I don't know. We shall see. Well, look, let's say hi to some people in the chat. Hi, Mary, Gabrielle Suthers, hip hip cheerio. Hello, Matt, our good friend who joined us on the protest the other day. Pat Shaw, hello from Maine.
Hello.
Hello, Mind Candy
Hello.
from Oregon, USA. Hello, pause for Andrea.
Hi, Andrea.
Greetings from Canada.
Yes, one of my biggest fans.
Canada.
Canada.
Oh, you're Jeff from Canada. Well, we have had Poe on the Go's here. Hey, Poe, mate.
Poe.
How are you doing? Welcome back. Everyone go check out Poe on the Go. He's an awesome guy.
Selena's here.
Selena,
Hello, Selena.
saying hi to Brian.
Hi,
Didn't
Brian.
say hi to us, though.
Rude.
Hi, Selena. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. My mum's in the chat. Hi, mum.
Hi, Mum.
Hello. Hello from Chile. Wow, we really do have an international audience. So we have had a very busy couple of days, haven't
Yes,
we?
we have.
We've been poking the bear that is the Church of Scientology. So we held a protest over the weekend, which was the largest anti-Scientology protest in the UK for 15 years. We got quite a lot of press from that. We were in the Daily Mail. There was a Swedish news channel that was there filming live outside. And I've got a couple of other things in the pipeline that will be coming out soon. So we instantly are public enemy number one for Scientology in the UK right now. So what should happen normally, and I'm speaking from experience here, being the director of public book sales at Sunderland Org, when something like this happened, the people who were involved would be sent, their name would be sent to all local orgs in kind of high alert. Watch out for these guys. They may make an appearance at the org. And if they do, what you need to do is immediately call OSA, the Office of Special Affairs, and we will come down and deal with it. So when we were out book selling, I was at Tottenham Court Road. We'd get these sorts of messages all the time. Watch out for these people. This is what they look like. If they come in, don't talk to them. Just tell them to leave. And if they don't, call us. That's what should have happened. Now, that clearly has not happened, which to me indicates that OSA are running pretty thin in terms of staff, because the person whose job it is to do that obviously is either incompetent or not existent anymore, because we should have been on the list of people sent to all organizations in the UK and said, watch out for these guys. So when we went to visit Danielle Chamberlain the other day, and Neville Chamberlain, we thought it would be quite fun to pop into the org.
But to be fair, though, like originally we were just going to stop by and get a selfie like we did with London. But it just so happened that as we were standing outside, the door just opened magically.
Yes. We were just getting pictures of the building outside. There was scaffolding up outside, which means I reckon they're about to do a refurb of some kind. And we were just taking pictures, and the door, which is closed and you have to press a buzzer to go in, randomly opened. And we were introduced to Eva, who is a lovely lady.
Yes.
She's Swedish. She has been a Scientologist for 15 years, and she said, would you like to come in? We said, yeah, we would. Now, I almost bailed because I was like feeling a bit uncomfortable, because she started pitching Dianetics to us, or to Jeff specifically. And I suddenly realized this is the first time I've heard someone doing this. The last time I heard this kind of speech was when I was doing it in Scientology on staff. And so I was very nearly going to be like, Jeff, you're on your own, I'll see you later. But I stuck with it. And we signed in on the guest book. We wrote our real names and addresses. Now, this is very impromptu. So it's not like we had a plan. We didn't go there to infiltrate the org. We didn't have a conversation beforehand about what are we going to say when we get in, what's our story. It was just kind of spur of the moment. And yeah, we were welcome in. We signed the guest book and had a little chat. You touched the e-meter.
I did. I've never actually seen the Mark 8, right?
Oh, Super 8, yeah.
Mark Super 8 in person, because it was released just after I left Scientology. And I asked her as we were on the way out, I said, oh, is that the she's like, the e-meter? Like, yeah. Can I touch it? Is that okay? And so I played around with it a little bit, just because it was kind of funny. So when I was in, I just kind of asked her if we could have a tour. And she started asking how we knew each other. And I kind of like fumbled my way through this like explanation of, he's, we're friends and from another friend. And I didn't really give a direct answer. I actually don't even know what I said. But it's certainly, if you like played it back or something, it would not make any sense at all. But it managed to, make her happy enough that we were there legitimately. And so she opted to give us a tour. Now, I think the most interesting thing that she said was, and actually one of the first things that she said was, she was more on the Dianetics side than Scientology. And she said that Scientology is not really a religious religion.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
Which was the stupidest thing to say, like, especially with something that's trying to, gain favor with the governments and become a religion properly. And she said it's more of a practical kind of exercise, essentially, versus actually religion. So I thought that was pretty funny.
It was especially funny considering it was only earlier this year that Scientology gained some form of religious recognition in the UK, because their buildings were defined in law as places of public worship. So this is a religious building legally in the UK. And so for her to say one of the first things, Scientology isn't really a religious religion, I was like, what? Like, I was briefed intensely day in, day out by the Office of Special Affairs when I was in Scientology on how to talk about Scientology to anybody that walks in the door, because you never know who's a government inspector or journalist or whatever. And so we were briefed on how to describe Scientology. And we would never be allowed to say it's not really a religious religion, because we're trying to come across as like, a legitimate religion here. So I was instantly surprised. And she was my junior. She definitely would have probably been told off by me if I was still in New York. But that doesn't mean she wasn't doing a good job. She was really lovely and she was really helpful. Now, the fact of the matter is, Sunderland Org is tiny. It is literally just like a floor above a shop with a little door in between two shops. It's a bit run down. Now, they have purchased a building. It was about 16 years ago they purchased a building in Sunderland for their Ideal Org renovations. And it's just sat empty for 15 years because parishioners have to pay for the renovation and the refurbishment. And that hasn't started because they don't have enough parishioners. Now, the 2021 census revealed that the Northeast has 33 Scientologists. And that completely tracked with what we saw in New York, because we were the only people there, which is kind of to be expected. There were no public there. And I kind of poked my head into the room that they call the chapel. And on the wall was a big whiteboard that said Biz 30. Now, Biz is bodies in the shop. That is the Scientology statistic for the total number of people that have walked into the building that week, whether that's staff who are learning or training Scientology, doing Scientology courses, whether that's public who are paying members of Scientology doing a course, or raw public like us who, or what they would perceive us to be, just walking in off the street. So a total of 30 people had walked into this building in the preceding week. So either Scientology is shrinking or it's at least stagnant, because 3 years ago there were only 33 self-identified Scientologists on the census. So it's a real key indicator that Scientology is not expanding in the way that I'm sure Dave Miscavige said it was at the IES event. Should we show some pictures?
Yes, please.
Or not that one, this one.
I think I did tell a lie today, though. I'd like to confess to.
Today?
Yeah. When I was in the org, I was, trying to gain favor with her and explain why I was so interested in Scientology or Dianetics. And I said the biggest lie I could possibly think of, and that I was a huge Tom Cruise fan. And that's kind of what triggered me into coming in, because I heard he was in town for some big event.
Oh yeah, yeah. And we talked about the Daily Mail article. And we said, oh, we saw him flying into this event, and we thought, that's what made us want to come in. And we're like, did you see it? And she said, yes, I saw that article, which is funny because the article was about Tom Cruise flying in and also the protest that we'd organized, and you were in the pictures. So
yeah,
that was quite funny. But here are some pictures from our trip. So this is the sign outside. It's very dated. Church of Scientology.
It's really dated.
It is. Goodness. It's old. And then this one here is Jeff, me, and Danielle Chamberlain outside the org. And this is just what we were doing. We were hanging around, taking pictures, and the door opened, and Eva, who looks very cheerful.
Bless her heart.
Look, Eva was lovely,
yes.
Right? She looks grumpy in this picture, but she was
grumpy.
actually really, really nice. It's just a bad picture. This is what you see when you first go into the org. Now, this is another thing that I find really funny. When I was giving people tours around London Org, if they started getting their phone out and taking pictures, that's like an instant sign that this person isn't just someone that's interested in Scientology. And we would instantly handle that differently. And kind of, I would try and wrap up the tour as quickly as possible and send them on their merry way. But Eva was well happy to show us around the org. And she's like, yeah, you can take pictures. You can, we'll show you around, to the point where I said, can you take a picture of us? And she said, yeah, sure. So I gave her my phone and she took this picture of Jeff and I inside Scientology Sunderland next to the Bridge to Total Freedom and the Material Sky chart.
And holding Impact magazines out in front like it's some sort of trophy. So, and these magazines I got, because I kind of, as we were going through the hallway, they were just all lined up there. And I thought, oh, what are these? I asked her. And so I picked one up and I said, oh, do you mind if I take one? She goes, yes, they're free. I'm like, perfect. So I just grabbed one of each, and it was amazing.
Without a doubt. And what we will be doing soon, not in this video, but in another one soon, we're going to scan in these publications and we'll share them. We'll put them on Scientologybusiness.com. We'll do a video and we'll dissect some of the claims that are made in these magazines, because it's fascinating to see what they are telling people internally. For context, the most recent Impact magazine that we got our hands on was from this year. So it's less than a year old. It's copyright 2023. So it is very recent. However, we are expecting a new one to come out soon, because the IES event, the International Association of Scientologists event, happened only earlier this week. And they historically have released a new Impact magazine shortly afterwards with all the pictures and stories from the event. So we'll have to do a recap to see this is what they're saying before the IES event, and this is what they're saying afterwards. But I can't wait. It'll be interesting.
And we did ask her whether she went to the IES event. She said she did not. However, they would be sending a video shortly or imminently to, for all the staff to watch. I tried to dig in a little bit to see if there's any information that I could glean from her that she might have heard, but she was remaining fairly tight-lipped about it, which is pretty standard for a staff member who's talking to a raw public, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is what's fascinating to me. I know you're not going to be able to see it very well on the stream. I did upload it to Scientologybusiness.com, which is my website, if you want to go check it out. This is the org board. Now, every church of Scientology has an org board, which shows all of the available posts, the jobs in the org, and it has people's names next to which job they hold. And the whole idea is this is the chain of command. People have responsibilities and statistics. Now, looking at this indicated there were only 3 staff members at the Church of Scientology Sunderland. And we knew Sunderland was small, but this just goes to show perhaps why they're struggling to raise money to refurbish and open their new building, because there's only 3 staff members. An Ideal Org can't open until it has 100 staff, I think.
I think it's like minimum 75.
75
something
staff.
Like that will never happen. Never, ever, ever in this. Like literally everybody who came into the building that week times at least 2 would have to join staff. So then there'd be no public.
Exactly.
So what would be the point? I mean, what is the point anyway? But
Precisely. But it was really, we weren't expecting to go in and do a tour. No. It was fascinating. But for me, what that indicated was that OSA are really slow and behind on all of their investigative work. I mean, when we got there, it was just a manual paper guest book. And when you've only got 3 staff members, it's not like there's a receptionist who can check us up on the internal system before giving us the tour. So once we were in and she was talking to us, I knew at that point that OSA hadn't sent our photos to the org and said, watch out for these guys, which means they're a little bit behind. They weren't expecting us to go to Sunderland Org. It's very possible they sent our pictures to London and St. Hill, obviously, and they're keeping their eyes out down the south. But for us to make the trip up north, they weren't expecting it. But they are highly, highly on it, because as soon as they entered our names and email addresses onto their central file system, it would have come up with a warning saying, you know, suppress a person or whatever. So as soon as someone assigned us in on the guest book, once we'd left the building, Eva or someone else would have had to enter our details into central files to make a new record. It would have popped up. And so at that point, they would have been notified to call OSA and say, hey, these guys have just shown up at Sunderland Org. And I think that's evidenced by the fact that from that point onwards, the next day today, we're pretty sure we were followed a couple of times, not like fully from door to door, but there were definitely some suspicious people following us and keeping eyes on us. So OSA were quite quick to react and try and figure out what we're doing here, why we're here, why we're in Sunderland, where are we going? There was someone hanging around just before the train station. When we got the train back, there was someone in London that we're pretty sure followed us through the route back to home. So they are keeping a close eye on us. But this is just an extension of the major flap that Jeff coming to the UK has been, because we did the whole protest. That was a major flap. And now we've gone to a Sunderland Org. Like, this week is a huge, huge flap for Scientology.
Oh, Flappy McFlapperface.
Flappy McFlapface
is turning around in his grave. He's not having a good day. In fact, oh, I think that's him. There he is. Oh my goodness. I'm very angry at you guys.
Here he is. But yeah, I think, look, it was fascinating. We wrote about it on the website, and we're going to be dissecting some of the documents and stuff that we received. But it's first-hand experience of how behind OSA are, and how as soon as they know where we are, they're on it and will be following us. And I'm just waiting to see what their next step is, because the policy is attack, 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 never defend. And the fact that Scientology have followed us a few times, but they haven't gone on the full-blown attack yet, I'm just waiting to see what their reaction is going to be.
Well, they're probably building a much bigger program for you specifically, because I'm headed back to Canada eventually. I haven't moved here. Thankfully,
are you sure about that?
Thankfully, I haven't moved here because I do miss my life back there. But you're definitely going to be given some attention over here. I suspect that it'll be given attention back in Canada as well. And I do have plans to do some stuff there. But frankly, nothing on the level of this past week's protest.
I think Chris Shelton said it perfectly on a stream the other day that I'm public enemy number 1 in the UK at the moment for Scientology. Mm-hmm. And it's true. I mean, you know, I'm poking the bear, like I said earlier, like, you know, they weren't expecting us to be there all 3 days. They certainly weren't expecting us to disrupt their the Qual building opening at the St. Hill property. They certainly weren't expecting us at Sunderland. So they must be panicking. OSA, this is the Office of Special Affairs, and thinking, what on earth are they going to do next? And I can't wait to do what we're doing next, but you know, you have to wait and see. But yeah, look, it's a major flap. I think the Qual building as well, this is fascinating. On the Sunday just gone, the last day of the IS event, we did a recap on this the other day about the opening of this new building, and how I had a theory that David Miscavige was meant to open this building and then threw Erin Banks on the stage at the last minute because he heard the protest. I spoke to somebody yesterday who has a very well-placed source who can confirm that David Miscavige, the leader of the church, was indeed supposed to open the Qual building at St. Hill, and obviously he didn't. And that therefore means that we as a protest disrupted their event, and David Miscavige personally, what's this? Pam Abernathy, used to be poking the bear. Now it's more like poking the hamster. How funny. Yes, true. But look, David Miscavige was meant to open this building. He didn't because of our protest. That's been confirmed by an inside source. And so for us, for me, I think that's like an indicator we're doing something right. You know,
I'd say so.
That they are changing their plans in response to what we're doing.
Well, and they don't know what the heck we're going to do next.
No, precisely.
And nobody does.
Yeah. There's a good comment here. Diana Cryer. Poor Eva, probably bored out of her skull. I hope she doesn't get in trouble. Now, this is something I want to mention. Mike Grinder talked about this on a live stream the other day about getting people in trouble. Obviously, it's not nice to purposefully get anybody in any sort of trouble. But Mike Grinder, Claire, and Mark, like so many people who have been doing this for years through the Aftermath Foundation, confirmed that quite often being sent to the RPF or being sent to do some sort of ethics conditions or handling is the final straw that breaks the camel's back. And a lot of people, sometimes that actually is what it takes for them to leave and realize this is rubbish. All I did was give this person a tour around the org. I took a picture of them at their request. They were nice, they were friendly. She didn't do anything wrong. We didn't do anything wrong.
No, we weren't disrespectful.
We weren't disrespectful. It was a nice conversation. And so if she gets punished for this, that might just be the thing that she thinks, this is insane. I'm out, you know? Yeah. So Mike Grinder said the other day, don't ever feel bad for getting someone in trouble from things like protesting and stuff like this, because it could actually help them get out. And that's what kind of motivated me. We didn't go in there purposefully trying to get Eva in trouble. No. And if she does get in trouble, that just shows how absurd Scientology is, because no one in this situation did anything wrong.
No.
She was actually quite lovely, and we were nice to her as well.
Yeah, and I'll just speak on my own behalf, having done conditions. So conditions is what she's probably going to be given at most. Like, she's not going to go to the RPF. She's not going to be made to eat rice and beans or punished physically or anything like that. All she's going to have to do, she'll probably have a stern talking to, have to write a knowledge report of some sort. She'll get assigned some sort of condition unless her stats are really high. Although her biz, which maybe that her stat, is probably an affluence thanks to us.
Yeah.
But you know, it is this constant like niggling away at the fact that you're trying to do good, but then you're getting in trouble for these dumb little things that, in my experience, actually assisted in me in leaving, which is the best thing for her. She's not being physically harmed in any way. So just to make that perfectly clear. And we were very nice. We were lovely. We had a good conversation. And we, I think, had a better view of her org than she did.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a couple of things that we haven't talked about that we will be mentioning in the coming days that we found out from this conversation we had with her. So please keep an eye on both of our channels. If you're watching this on my channel, go and subscribe to PTS for Life. Jeff has a new channel on SBTV and he's doing great work. So go and subscribe to him and give him some watch hours and all that sort of stuff. Ubeek, thank you so much for the super chat. You two are nothing but trouble. Keep it up, my friends. Brad PS, say hi to wee Davey.
Yeah.
Brad. Oh yeah, hi Brad. How you doing?
Hi, Brad.
Brad was there with us on the protest over the weekend. Thank you for the super chat. Yep. And wee Davey says hi back. Go Power Thetans. Mrs. Mia 2703. Great question. Are all Search Scientology buildings the same style? No, they're not. How would you compare Sunderland Org to orgs in Canada that you've been to?
Well, I've only been to one org in Canada. It was Vancouver. It's tiny. Like, it is really small. It's basically just that one narrow room, stairway, and then like basically a section in that floor. I don't know if they had a third floor or not. We only went up to the second one.
They didn't.
But the Vancouver org is, well, there's basement, main floor, so 3 floors total. It's on kind of a hill, and it's probably 8 times as wide and at least 7 times as deep. So it's way bigger. But it is also a full-size Class 5 org, and the only one in the area versus Sunderland, where there's more, you know, in cities around it, right? The nearest org to Vancouver in Canada would be Edmonton, which is at least 1,200 kilometers away, or 800 miles. So,
yeah, I think in answer to the question, if they're all of the same style, no. I mean, look, ideal organizations have been refurbished. They usually get an old listed architectural, historic building, refurbish it, make it all fancy and pretty. And there is a uniform look that you see in most Scientology organizations. However, older organizations or buildings that haven't been renovated or turned ideal yet tend to look very similar in that they're kind of run down. There's not much money being pumped into them, mismatched furniture. So they do all look very similar, yes, but they don't look identical.
Yeah. I mean, think about it this way. If they're getting a new building, eventually they're not going to polish the turd they're in.
Precisely. Sarah Wynn, thank you for the question, I suppose, or comment. The articles of Scientology Business are top rate. Thank you. If you guys want to read about what we're doing, see some of the pictures up close and all of that, head to scientologybusiness.com. That's my website where I'm, looking at Scientology's UK, European, Commonwealth activities. And also, if you want to write for Scientology Business, send in your stories. I'm happy to publish stuff. I'm looking at the finances, the legal arena, the lawsuits, all this sort of stuff. So Scientologybusiness.com, there's an article about this trip in the link in the description down below. Autumn the Cat, question, has the fair game already started?
Don't know.
I mean, they're following us for sure.
In theory. I mean, there's obviously no evidence of it, but there was a pretty suspicious gentleman at the very least outside of the train station heading out of Sunderland, who once I made direct eye contact with him, and as soon as I did that, we walked a little bit further away. He buggered off in a different direction than he was already traveling. So, yes,
yeah, absolutely. Kelly Copter, hi, how are you doing? We love Kelly. Question: what will happen to Eva when Osa sees you guys took pictures with her? Hope she'll be okay. Yes, she will be okay. I'm guessing you just joined, Kelly. If you rewind a little bit, we were just talking about that, how it's unlikely she'll get in the RPF or anything like this, but she'll be doing ethics conditions, this sort of thing, I would imagine. But also, like I said, it's sometimes the straw that breaks the camel's back. And, that's what some people need to highlight the insanity that is the Church of Scientology and help them escape. So that's the hope. I mean, we were nice to her. She was nice to us. We have nothing negative to say about her. She was quite lovely. And we don't want to cause any trouble or harm on anybody. And if they do anything like that, then that just shows how horrible the people in, or how horrible Scientology itself is. She shouldn't be in trouble for anything that she did, because she didn't do anything wrong. And so if she is in trouble, that's because Scientology is an evil, manipulative cult.
She'll be fine. Worst kind of worst, she'll have to do some conditions. So
yeah, exactly. You got to remember, she's a class 5 staff member and not Sea Org as well. Yeah. So she's only going to be there Monday to Friday, or whichever she's day or foundation. But great question. Thank you, Kelly. Hannah Reynolds, are you enjoying all the local delicacies? They have some good ones up there.
Yeah, well, we went for a Sunday roast just before the third day of our protest, and that was amazing. What else have I had? Oh, the pints. The pints are pretty good. And did I have anything else? Well, I was
fish and chips.
Oh yeah, lots of fish and chips. And in fact, Danielle and Neville and Alex and I went for the most amazing fish and chips yesterday.
By the seaside.
Yes, by the seaside, and it was phenomenal. Some of the best fish and chips I've had. So yes, I am.
There we go. Boom, boom, boom. Dr. Bosom, MD, SPTV creating friendships, Church of Scientology destroying families and friendships. That's so well said. I couldn't say it better myself.
I have met some lovely people, including you too, Alex. In this, over the course of the protest, Selena being one of them, and Brad, of course, and Matthew, and managed to meet up with Neville and Danielle, and I met up with Kelly, and it's been lovely to meet people who I've been looking up to, who I've been following, listening to, and being able to talk to someone about my experience who truly understands it. So it is lovely, little community.
There we go. And final question, Selena, thank you for joining us in the chat. We love Selena. Yes. Question, Jeff, is your photo still up on the IS event page?
Both of them are still up there. So
we need to give some context to this, though.
Okay, yeah. So on, I guess it was a week ago, the Thursday before the protest, I had Davey here, and I took a picture of him with a pint of beer as we were just having lunch, and threw it up onto the official IS anniversary Facebook page, and there it remains. And then actually, was it day 2, I think, of the protest? I took another picture of him. No, I took a picture of the protest, wasn't it?
It was day 2. We said, hey, we left a comment saying, or you left a comment saying, if you want to help escaping or whatever, we're here to help.
Yeah. Anyway, regardless, I put up 2 pictures that were definitely that do not belong on the Facebook page for the IS. And I checked earlier today and it's still there. Who knows? We'll be able to prove whether Osa is watching these videos, and we'll see if it's taken down shortly.
My comment was blocked. I wasn't allowed to post on the page, but I did post links.
I think that was because you had a link to.
I did have a link, to the Aftermath Foundation. But anyway, that's it. And just wanted to throw this up as well. Jill Harrison, Lethbridge, Alberta, checking in.
Hey, hello, my fellow Canadian.
Hello, Canada. And before we wrap up, one more super chat just come through. Hi, Rapids444. Thank you for the super chat. It still amuses me that they weren't prepared for you all 3 days when you publicly said so many times that you would be. Yeah, we even had a website that said we're going to be there on this day at this time and this day at this time. And they still weren't expecting us. And they certainly weren't expecting us at the opening of the Qual building. So major flap all round. And the major flap continues. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us. We'll keep you updated with more things that are going on in the next few days. Anything you want to add before we wrap up?
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much, guys. We'll see you next week.